I basically presented it to them like, look, this is not how this band is going to leave the stage, just by not even taking the stage, right?
Right.
I proposed the idea of just give me 1 year, one more year. Let's do a farewell run. I'll get Armand from Night Demon to play guitar. He can easily handle it.
Right.
And they agreed to do that. But as things go along, I think those two guys, Tim and Rob specifically, realized, hey, the band's sounding better than ever, and we still have the energy. We still have the energy, and all these people are showing up to all these concerts we're
Right.
doing. And I'm like, yeah, but they're showing up because it's like they know this is the last time they're going to see you guys. You know what I mean?
Jarvis motherfucking Leatherby. Good to see you. You seem extremely relaxed, but I know that you're very, very busy right now because you're about to go. I mean, can I even say that you're about to go on tour? I feel like you're always on tour. It's busy
Yeah,
for you. It's been busy
it
for
feels
you.
that way. It feels that way. It feels that way. It
Yeah.
feels that way. We've actually had a couple months off, but I find myself touring a lot while I'm not touring. Like I can't. I just kind of live out of the backpack, and I've actually been going to a lot of like horror conventions, paranormal conferences,
Okay.
UFO conferences, other concerts, right? So like I've had like really extended road trips that have nothing to do with me performing. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like I've gotten so used to it, and
Yeah.
travel is so much. Well, I'm not going to say it's easy compared to 50 years ago or whatever, right?
Right.
Like people would probably not imagine how easily it would be to go places now, um, but it is a bit chaotic with the airlines these days,
For sure.
pretty sketchy shit going on. But yeah, man, just staying on the move, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's almost 5 years since I first interviewed you. And
Wow.
it's been like you've been on a roller coaster ever since. No stopping, that's for sure. Are you tired? Or do you have, or like, do you just keeping going or never stopping? Does that fuel you?
No, it makes me tired for sure. And the older you get, like people always say, when you're young, you listen to older people always tell you stuff, and you're like, yeah, whatever, old man. And then like one day you're like, what, when it hurts to get out of bed. And the thing is, like, me and all my guys, we're very like physically active on stage,
Right.
and we're not like so physically active off stage, right? And so that's something that I've tried to implement in my life, just a healthier lifestyle off stage, which is tough in rock and roll.
For sure.
But it's helped a lot, right? It's helped a lot with the transition from day to day, stuff like that. And I mean, I get like I get like sports massage once a week, and just trying to stay healthy and more active in like just an everyday lifestyle, because it's like if you don't play a show for 2 weeks, it kind of goes away a little bit,
Right.
like the physicality of it all. So yeah, it's just part of life, And I watched, that I was gonna go to Birmingham to
Right.
the
Right. Yeah.
Sabbath show, um, but I kind of decided against it because I've been traveling so much, right? And I do need to be home for at some point to get things ready for this next tour. But I did watch the live stream, and I was like, I know so many people criticize all these guys, but if you really, I don't know if you saw it but
Hmm.
like, man, I mean, like our heroes are really aging out. Like, most all the bands, you kind of look at them, and it's just a fact of life, you know.
Yeah.
It's not any discredit to them, you know. And then so like when you're kind of like a generation behind that, and you see you know, because I'm not like super young, but
Watch it. You're
compared
only
to,
you're only a couple of years older than I am. So if you consider yourself old, then I'm old, and I'm not gonna take
well, okay,
that.
no, I mean, I don't feel old in the mind, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
you could kind of see, like, you know, when I was growing up, these bands, I mean, with the exception of Black Sabbath, but everybody underneath them, right? Like, they were my heroes, and they were younger than we are now, right? So,
Right.
you know, right? It's just something
Yep.
to think about, man. It's just the construct of time, right? It's like you can't
Can't stop it.
you have to embrace it, you know. But what I'm saying is like I think that we are trying part of the thing with Night Demon at least is the physicality on stage, and it's like that's something that we really want to keep. So
Hmm.
now it's like at this age it's kind of a thing where a lot of the vices have had to go, you know.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. We'll get back to Night Demon in a second,
Hmm.
or in a couple of minutes.
Oh, you want to talk
Because
about the real old guys?
Well, let's go there for a second. The slightly older guys, because yeah, we are recording this the morning after the Back to the Beginning show of Black Sabbath that I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody has seen by now. Um, and another perfect example of that, when a band like Black Sabbath does a tour called The End, then you can count on it that within 10 years from then, there's still going to be something happening. So on the live at the Roxy that came out, the new live album of Cirith Ungol, but
Uh,
a celebration on a double vinyl, if you will. I think it's just before the final song that we hear, okay, we may or may not see you again, before the final song kicks off. So where are we there? Like, is that, I know that there's still a couple of shows coming that have been
yeah.
announced, not in the least the Frost and Fire fifth edition, which is really cool in October. That's coming, but is this now the end? Notwithstanding re-releases and other stuff, where are we there?
Yeah, I mean, so just a very brief backstory. You know, we had some issues with some of the members of the band, and
Hmm.
it was kind of going to be a thing where the original guys of Cirith Ungol were like, "Fuck this, we're done. Like, we can't make this work anymore. It's
Right,
over." And I said, "Well, we've got a show in 2 weeks that's sold out at a legendary club, and we're doing a live album. Like, there's been thousands spent on this already in advance. We've got a film production crew flying out from the East Coast. You know, this is not the time to pull the plug." So I
right,
said, I basically presented it to them like, look, this is not how this band is going to leave the stage, you know, just by not even taking the stage, right?
right,
I proposed the idea of can like just give me 1 year, one more year. Let's do a farewell run. I'll get Armand from Night Demon to play guitar. He can easily handle it.
right,
And they agreed to do that for, you know, and so that show was the first of what would have been the final tour, right?
right,
But as things go along, I think those two guys, Tim and Rob specifically, realized, hey, the band's sounding better than ever, and we still have the energy. We still have the energy, and all these people are showing up to all these concerts we're
right,
doing. And I'm like, yeah, but they're showing up because it's like they know this is the last time they're going to see you guys. You know what I mean? It's not like, I mean, the numbers were always good. You know what I mean?
right.
It's not like Since the band reformed, there was never a point where like there was never a real down point, like bands have, all bands and all music scenes kind of have that in their career. There's always highs and lows, but
For sure, for sure.
yeah,
Especially those
but
that reunite for one special show
right.
and then think that, oh yeah, we're gonna pull a full crowd every week. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think that I don't know that gave them some kind of spark, and I'm being completely transparent here. I mean, we argued about it for that whole year. I mean, I was like adamant about like, look, no, like this is the band's credibility is on the line. Like when you say this, like we've all known bands to do the farewell tour and then not, and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been to so many of those concerts. Scorpions, Kiss,
Yeah.
Sabbath's last tour. God, I can't think. I'm sure there's more, but I've done that, and I know how I felt about it too. But at the same time, it's like I think the fans that were coming to all those gigs, they kept saying, please don't retire, please don't retire." And so I kind of just at the end of the day kind of threw my hands in the air and just said, "Look, I'll leave it up to you guys. It's your band.
Hmm.
And there's another aspect to it. So Rob and Tim are 69 years old now, okay?
Hmm.
I've known them for a long time, and before the band was back together, right? And their lives were completely different in that dark period where they didn't play music. And getting this band back together is like giving them a total rebirth, right? And
Right.
do you ever hear about like people in older age that they'll work a job their whole lives or something, they'll retire and then they'll die kind of soon after,
Right.
or somebody's been married to somebody for a long time, their
Yeah, yeah,
partner
yeah,
died,
yeah.
they're like immediately
Boom.
after, right? For
Yeah.
whatever, as completely healthy people, right? So I kind of started to think about it that way because like this band is everything to them. This is like it's complete redemption for them. I mean, since
Yeah.
1971, they've been trying to do this,
Right.
and had no success until 2016.
Hmm.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
So, yeah. So my thing was like, I'm not going to be the one to take this away from them if this is what they really want. And they're like family to me, so I'm going to participate in it. And I think that people's memories are there's so much noise in the world, people forget about stuff or they just don't care. Sometimes I think us as human beings, we're so paranoid about what other people think, and I don't think we realize that people aren't even thinking about us, they're thinking about themselves, you know.
Right.
Like I don't think it's that heavy of a weight, right? So my point is, if those guys were to stop playing right now, I would feel a responsibility to, if they stop playing on my account, I would feel responsible for the unhappiness that they're going to have for the rest of their lives, right? So
Right.
like it's something that gives them not only joy but a purpose, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So why take that away? And if they still want to go out and perform for people that want to pay and see them, and they still want to make music, then like all right. So it was like before the farewell tour was actually finished, like they had already decided that it wasn't done. So so that's the deal. It's weird to be in this situation, dude. It's weird. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because I've spent most of my life not really criticizing bands that do this. I don't really like to criticize anybody, but at least having that internal feeling of buying into it. God, I did it with Slayer too. I'm trying to think, like the more I think about it, like I've gone on this journey with so many bands,
Yeah.
you know, but I still all the bands that I mentioned, at least, like I still went to see them after that.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
So I guess I don't have a problem with it, right?
Yeah. It's
I I I would be really reluctant to do something like this again, though. You know what I mean?
right.
Like unless I don't think I would ever do that with Night Demon unless it was like I knew for sure, you know? And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I hear you. I think I've been at 5 farewell tours of the Scorpions in the last 20 years or something like that. And then it's like when they come play, it's like, oh, I want to go see them again. And it's you can talk about it forever and ever and what it all means. And at the end of the day, the fans either want to see you or they don't. It
Right.
can be as
I
simple as that.
remember I remember Tim from Cirith Ungol, we went to see Scorpions farewell. I think it was 2012 or 13.
Right.
And and the next year they had a record come out called Return to Forever. And
Yeah.
it was like immediate, you know. There
Yeah.
was no break.
Yeah.
So and now they just did their 60th
Yeah,
anniversary show.
exactly. What a day
Yeah,
yesterday, really,
yesterday, I was
for
going to say
metal.
yesterday was a huge day for metal, you
It
know?
was, it was,
I,
it was. This is every year has like in metal has like that one thing that like is the metal event of the year, and
Mhm.
and we had this weird. I mean, I'm gonna say that with all the respect to the Scorpions, and I love the Scorpions. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that the Black Sabbath show kind of overshadowed that one to some extent. Um,
Yeah. It
but
definitely did. It definitely did publicly, but one thing is that that Scorpions show was announced way before and it had already been sold out.
yeah,
So,
and what a
so at
lineup
least,
too, by the way.
yeah. So Alice Cooper, Priest, right? But at least
Yeah.
they had that in place, you know?
hmm
So it's kind of funny because being in more of the underground, like yesterday would have been like the worst day in metal for me if we would decided we were going to go do something. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like there would be no eyes and ears on us
No,
when with all that going on, you know?
no,
So
for
I got to
sure,
just
for
sit
sure.
back and enjoy it, you know?
It's the king! No fear!
As the manager and bass player for Cirith Ungol and working so close with them over the last years, like two things really happened. Number one, you already mentioned it, like they finally got the credit. They got to play. Okay, not every show that Cirith Ungol played in the last 5 years was for 20,000 people, but they did get to finally go to those massive festivals and get the response that they were probably dreaming of for a long time. So that finally happened. And I remember actually you telling me in that very first interview 5 years ago, you're like, I really hope that now is the time for these big festivals to book them. And then a couple of years
Yeah.
later, that actually happened. So that was really cool to see. But what also happened, and that because the first part that happens from time to time, that happens with these legendary bands that reunite, after a long time and finally get the credit. What rarely happens for those same bands is then that a whole new body of work is released that also is very, very well received. Like these last albums, starting with the first EP that came out and then the albums, they've been extremely well received. Where you can now play, so, and I know that there's nostalgia in metal, and there's going to be those classics that people always want to hear, but Cirith Ungol can now today play a set that is half new material and half classics, and people will actually love that set list. That is rare for a band as well. For you, who is behind the scenes so involved, what are you at the end of the day most proud of? And proud can be a bad word, but I don't think it's a bad word. The fact that you were able to help this band get that credit, or the fact that this new music came out and that it was so good.
I would say probably just getting them back together and playing on stage is the proudest moment because that's like a compounding effect. That's why everything that you mentioned actually happened.
Right.
That was the first step and that was the hardest, you
Okay.
know. I mean, it was really hard to do. The answer was no for a decade at least, you know.
Right.
It was hard. It was hard. And plus, you know, the fact that these guys didn't play music for 25 years, right? Not just together, like not at all.
Hmm.
Greg did some stuff in another band, but it wasn't like extremely active or anything like that. And he was kind of the final piece to the puzzle anyway, you know. But, you know, Rob just didn't know how to play drums anymore. Like
Right.
it was atrocious, you know.
Let
I
alone
always
get a
say
good stage outfit.
I always say it sounded like Animal from the Muppets, you know? Like it was crazy, man, just hearing him play again, you
Yeah.
know. And but he got good again really quick, you know. So that's probably it. Just because I could still think back to that moment 10 years ago and like there was something electric about it, you know. That like if it ended there with one show, it
A
would be good.
success.
But you know, again, like these guys being like family and friends to me, basically, like kind of goes back to what I said earlier, the fact that like they have a strong purpose in life now that they
Yeah.
didn't have for a long time. That's kind of cool. And I think like there's this kind of guilt that the world will give you where the world will tell you like you need to give back more. You need to,
Mm,
you know what I mean? And I always feel like that's coming from a pretty fake perspective. I don't think the people that tell you that actually do as much as they say they actually do, right?
right.
But it does actually feel good to do something for somebody. You have to do the right thing for the right people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You, some people are selfless and they do things anonymously for people that they don't know. And if you have the means to do that, and if that makes you feel good, that's good. But that's not for everybody.
Hmm.
People should focus way more on their relationships within their inner community and their families and start there. You know what I mean? Before being so righteous and doing all of these things for recognition for people that you don't even know or care about, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing for me. I finally felt the emotion of what it feels like to legitimately do something for somebody that makes a difference. Does that make sense? Like I don't have children, so I don't know that feeling of
Right.
looking into a child's eyes and you know what I mean, and you know that what that's like, right? But for me, I mean, this was that.
Yeah.
It was a genuine emotion of like, hey, man, I'm important. I'm an important architect of the happiness of the lives of these heavy metal unsung heroes, you know?
Hmm.
And so that's where all the gratification came to me, not by me being in the band. I didn't want to be in the band, you know, not by me managing the band. I didn't want to manage the band. This all came by through osmosis, but just being able to facilitate these guys doing realizing the dream and following the light the call, you know.
So you mention or you talk about the importance of giving back, yes, but giving back to your close knit community and making a real difference. And I'm going to use that as a beautiful segue to the Frost and Fire Festival #5 in October coming back, which is exactly what you're talking about. I mean, the lineup for this one is just beautiful. We're expecting my second child August 1st in a few weeks from now.
Oh,
So,
congrats.
but I do hope that that I'm allowed to travel by that time. Again, not that we will
Let
have
me
two
know,
kids
man. We'll
to
take
it.
care of you.
Oh, and I mean, it's very high on my wish list and plan for the remainder of the year. I want to be at that show, and like both days are just phenomenal, right? And I mean, it is almost like a family reunion at that point. If you look at all the bands that are playing,
Well, I appreciate that. You know, like I appreciate you saying that because I mean, if you look at it on the scale of what we just saw yesterday,
Right.
Like who are these bands? You know what I mean? So like the fact that you're in tune with all of that is good because I think it's a special thing for sure.
It is a really, yeah, there's some cool stuff there. Some
Mhm.
cool stuff there. I mean, I'd love to see also like Hands of Goro live. Avi's Band of Night. They had such a killer album. I still give him shit that it's the worst cover art I've ever seen on an album, but great stuff. Now, sure, this may or may not be the last time people in Ventura get to see Cirith Ungol, but it is
Right.
also a very special Night Demon show because you are.
Hmm.
I think it's the last show of the 10-year anniversary tour,
It is, yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's a special one. I mean, for all the reasons,
Yeah.
it's going to be a very very special weekend for you, emotional weekend. I can imagine for you as well. Um, I mean, apart from the whole album. What are for Curse of the Damned, obviously, 10-year
Yeah.
anniversary of that album. What can we expect from that show? I mean, you're going to be so busy that weekend, man.
Yeah, I don't like from what can we expect from Night Demon's performance or just the whole thing?
Give me both.
Okay, well, I think, for Night Demon, I'm not sure yet. I mean, we definitely have to play the full album. We'll probably do some greatest hits after that. But we always got to watch time on these things on festivals, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we're doing this thing in a very small club. Like we're doing it in the first place that we did the fest of the first year of the fest, right? So the first year of the fest was just one day and it was in a very small club. Actually, I think I have, yeah, on the wall here I have. This is the poster from the first year, 2015, so it's 10 years ago.
yeah. And that lineup
And
as well is just insane, by the way.
this is like back in my 10 years ago, I had a lot more spunk, I guess. And I had every band member of every band sign this poster.
Nice.
So I mean, like, you know, Mark Shelton is no longer with us from Manila Road.
Hmm.
The guys from Ashbury are no longer a band. Steel Prophet. It's like kind of funny looking at some of these bands that are not around anymore. It's funny though. It says at the bottom, special meet and greet signing session with the members of Cirith Ungol. So they didn't play that year.
Yeah,
This is when I was still trying to reunite them, and the reason for the festival was to reunite the band. That's the only reason we did it. I said if I did a metal festival in town here in a non-metal town where you guys wouldn't have to travel, would you come and do an autograph signing session? And they agreed. And that was the catalyst. People flew in from all over the world just to meet these guys. They
yeah,
thought they were there were rumors Tim was dead for years, all these things, and they saw what was happening there, and that night sparked the reunion. So yeah, it is a special thing to bring it back to that place. There's actually two stages in this club. It's going to be uncomfortably packed, and I mean, we'll see. I've got to watch capacity issues, but it'll probably
right.
be 300 to 400 people. I'd say more like 400, but it's kind of wild, to think about that because in the other editions we've done it at huge fucking venues, So, um, but yeah, this is it's a nice intimate setting. It's kind of like the opposite of what a stadium show for Black Sabbath would be. It's like this is like everybody who's there really wants to be there. They're not there to pose. They're not
Yeah,
there
yeah,
for Instagram stories. It's like this is where the most hardcore people in the community congregate to celebrate this kind of stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So,
yeah.
in that aspect, I'm pretty excited about it.
I bet, I bet, I bet. Now, along with the re-release of the album, we also saw a very fun, our favorite axe-wielding shadowy figure come to life. Eugene has an
Yes.
action doll or action figure.
Yeah.
I should know this, but has there ever been like a statue or a figurine of Rocky before?
No, there hasn't. And it's funny because we have so much done in research and development for that. I mean, we have all those ready to go for every phase that he's had. But it just being the timing of it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like being that this is the 10th anniversary of Curse of the Damned, we decided, well, let's start rolling some of these action figures out now, and let's just start with that one. So it
Yeah,
is kind
yeah.
of funny because a lot of people are being introduced to the band for the first time right now, and they're like, "Oh, that's the mascot." And then the diehards are like, "No, dude, like this guy is like, like this is a
It's a
side
side
character,
character. Yeah.
you know." But it's become iconic in a way. I mean, that album cover is one of the best ones we have, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's taken on a life of its own. So it's kind of cool for us. It's exciting because it's like, oh, we get to bring something out of the depths in a big way,
Mm-hmm.
that people were not really familiar with. And now, we're telling a lot of stories on the podcast about it. We have the comic book in there, Blood Sacrifice, that was a very short run that came out when the album did, that kind of tells you the backstory of Eugene, man. There's a whole thing. So, and that's what we've always tried to do is all of our favorite bands that have mascots, like they have zero story.
Yeah.
And we've always created the story behind ours, so that information is out there, and there's a whole lore to it, and it's just fun for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I bet. I do like at some point, want to probably, I guess my the jewel in my action figure or collectible, I don't know what the right word is, collection, although it's 99% Eddies. But then there's
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
I've got this awesome statue of the Mad Butcher of Destruction.
Oh, wow.
And it's like this high. It's a pretty
Wow.
sweet one. I'd love a Rocky like that in the collection. That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty
Yeah, we've
sweet.
got some small action figures coming out. I'm not sure when. I mean, like, I think we'll see what happens, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I like the reissue ideas, like with this
Yeah.
box set we have. I mean, like, I think we'll probably just do it Metallica style and do a box set for every record. We've got all the material. We've
Right.
got a ton of stuff in the archives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, let's not forget just the power also of Screams in the Night, which I, for me, like looking back now, it's been a healthy times. I still would say that Outsider is probably my favorite Night Demon album,
Wow,
but Screams
that's
in the
cool.
Night still remains my favorite song.
Wow,
Like
that is, yeah, that's
what
great.
I know it's always hard for people to, and I rarely
Yeah.
ask artists that because they can be cheesy, but I'm gonna put you on the spot anyway with a cheesy question. Like, are you able to pick a favorite child out of amongst all your children? Like, do you have that one song that for you is like, this is my favorite one?
No, not really. Not I wouldn't say that. No, I think I'm just sick of them all. I'm like, I've played them so many times that I'm just like, I'm so ready to
Have new
create
stuff.
something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate the sentiment about Outsider. That's really cool, man, because most people would just like a band's first release, So
That's well, particularly in you mentioned before, like our scene and specifically the diehards that come to Frost and Fire. I mean, that is a community where it's like if you like a band beyond their first demo, they call you a sellout, right? So
yeah, totally.
it is
Totally.
it's an
Like
interesting one.
even with Metallica, like there's forever people were like kill them all, and now I see people. They're like, no life till leather. And everything after that, I was like, are you kidding me? Like what are you talking about? Like the garage demo, like is really that's the peak of the band. You're out of your mind. Like it's so funny, man. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I when I look back on our music, I kind of look back on it. So it's kind of like when you do your first stuff, you have your whole life to make it, and it's a
right.
progression. You're playing songs live that are not recorded yet because you're still just kind of trying to figure
Yeah,
out what we're doing as a band, right? So when I think of our catalog, I think of it in albums, and when I think about it, I never think about the material. I think about the feeling that I had around the making of that work, right?
Right.
So the most special to me would probably be the first EP, because there was just like literally nobody was expecting anything from us, and
Hmm.
it didn't matter. We didn't think anybody was going to care about it, so we were just doing it for ourselves. But it felt really good. It was like going to a therapy session once a week, getting together with these guys. I just did. It was
Yeah.
like something was happening there that was a magical feeling between us, and nobody else needed to be involved. No, we
Right.
didn't need any fans. We were just doing it, right? And then with Outsider, the most recent album, that had an equally great feeling, because it was during the pandemic and the whole world was freaking out, and we were just having the time of our lives, like we loved it. We were the streets were clean, the air was fresh. We were together all the time anyway. We didn't isolate. Like, we're always together. It's like, you know what I mean? So we had time. We finally had time to like sit back and explore and write a concept album. It was amazing. So even right now, I feel like I'm home today. The whole band is in town right now. Like, why can't we just write today? Well, we can't, because we have a tour coming up. There's always this like looming stress in the back of
Right.
my, you know, about what's around the bend. And around that time, Ditches was completely eliminated, and I felt like a kid on summer vacation. And I think part of like the fact that we've been so enamored with the horror genre our whole lives and the world of fantasy, things like the pandemic it was refreshing to us, where the rest of the world that's not into that culture was terrified by it. But I think when you spend a whole life, watching films, reading literature, listening to music, looking at art that has to do with this kind of stuff, you're prepared for it. Because no, really, because guys like us, we already live this in our heads every day, some
Right.
story of something like this. So it kind of prepares us to not be like that in everyday life. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So for us it was exciting. It was like, what's going on here? This
Right.
is
Right.
just
Right. You were ready
this
for
is
the zombie apocalypse.
well, just yeah. I mean, like the shit leapt right off the page and right into our lives.
Hmm.
It was like, and just all the strife going on in the world. It was like, let's just sit back and let this unfold. But in the meantime, let's not be people that are going to squander this opportunity.
Right. Right.
Let's
Right.
let's go deep into our own world and see what we come out of this with. And I've unfortunately seen a lot of people that came out with nothing, and that
Right.
came out with just a very sad look on the world. And we weren't like that at all. We absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, look, we didn't like the death and
Well, no,
and
I mean that goes without saying.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we have sympathy for that. But like we released the song, we wrote the song. The first song we wrote was Wisteria, which came out July 3rd of 2020. So you got to think, yeah, we did that in March. So that was before there was a vaccine or anything, and we got a lot of heat for that. People basically called us a QAnon band, or like a COVID deniers and stuff, and like people didn't really listen to the message. And even the
Right.
music video, we put the lyrics on the screen for the music video because I wanted people to understand what we were talking about. But it was just basically about how the world, like, and the media we were getting played. Okay, it wasn't like I'm not gonna. We're not COVID deniers. I'm not gonna say it's not real. I'm just saying we were fed into the fear mongering of it all, and we saw it right away, and that's not good for anybody. It
Right.
divided a lot of people versus people coming together, and we still see that in the world today. It's carried over,
For sure,
and
for sure, for
it,
sure.
it's
Yeah.
it's just not a good way to live. I know I'm going off on a side tangent here, but this has something to do with all this.
There is a secret that I tell no one.
I do want to come back to, like, I think the last time that I got to interview you was in person in Toronto before the Blind Guardian and Night Demon
Yes.
show, right? And we were talking at that point. That was not too long after your last Hell's Hero show, where you played a bunch of covers, two Thin Lizzy songs, if I remember correctly, and because obviously, you're in Ventura right now. There you go. But you're practically Irish at this point with the time you spent there, and I know Thin Lizzy is very important to you, and you spoke about going to see some of the former bands and all that kind of stuff, former members. But you said in that interview that we like to play those covers and also obviously record some of those covers, because I think you said, like, you felt somehow a bit of a responsibility to keep those songs alive. So if we go through everything that we talked about in this interview and come full circle, eventually Cirith Ungol is going to stop. At some point, that'll stop, and that will likely happen before Night Demon stops. Although that might, at some in some way, shape, or form, feel like a weight off your shoulders. But do you think you'll have the same feeling of responsibility to keep some of these songs alive and give them the Night Demon treatment? I mean, King of the Dead playing live allows you to do some fun stuff with your bass. Have you thought of that at all? Like,
Not
when
really.
Cirith Ungol is over?
Not really. So I will say that what was it? We covered an old song of theirs, 100 Miles Per Hour. We recorded it as a B-side, and Tim Baker sang with me on the song.
Right.
That when we decided that we were going to cover that song, we went through the entire catalog of the band, and that was the only song that we thought we could give the Night Demon treatment and it would be
Right.
good. The problem with Cirith Ungol is, well, it's not really it depends how you look at it, okay? The problem with covering a Cirith Ungol song is that Tim's voice is just so unique. Like, you would have to, anybody that covers a Cirith Ungol song, they would have to create and write their own vocal melody,
Right.
because you can't, he's not, I wouldn't even call his singing melodic, you know what I
Right.
mean? So that's what we did with 100 Miles Per Hour. I had to write notes for the voice, right? So that is a cool challenge, and it's an interesting take, but we've never really thought about it beyond that, I mean, I would keep the band alive through the catalog and the discography, and releasing live stuff or whatever I could find. That's definitely a goal, to keep that going. We've gotten a lot of television placements lately on some cool shows, and so there's stuff going on there. It's still kind of growing in that way, but I don't think we would pull out a Cirith Ungol classic. I just don't. That could change,
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So no Cirith Ungol covers on the set at this upcoming tour for sure, but lots of other cool stuff. And then by the time I hope to see you at the festival in October, and I'm sure by then you've already got 5 new projects in the works that are not fully defined today just yet. Jarvis, thank you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much for your time. You're super generous with your time, as always, which I really appreciate. And I wish you guys the best tour and big celebration of that landmark album. And I hope all these action figures sell out before they even are released.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll see each other soon enough.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I want to mention real quick is we do along with the action figure, we have a box set coming out,
Yes.
Curse of the Damned Ultimate Edition. 3 vinyl, 3 CD, 120-minute DVD, comic book, tour program, posters, tons of extra stuff, downloads, 20-song demo tape. It's got everything in there, and we kept the price point as low as we could. It's actually very affordable. It's been selling very well, but I highly encourage people to that are into that album to check that out because that has it's like the mother load of everything that you want in there. And also check out the Night Demon Heavy Metal podcast that runs every Friday. We're up to about 260 consecutive episodes now. It's kind of wild, but we're covering the Curse of the Damned anniversary stuff for the next few months. So yeah,
Awesome.
and Cirith Ungol is working on some new music. So
Boom. Like, let's just drop that bomb at the
I mean,
very
that's
last
it,
minute of this
dude.
cover.
That's it. That's it. It
Awesome,
is what
awesome.
it
Oh,
is.
well, it sounds like the end is not near at all for Cirith
Let's
Ungol,
hope
so the
not. Let's
fans
hope not.
can keep enjoying that. Well, thank you so much. Next time we talk, we'll go deeper into that last little tidbit that you just mentioned. Have a fantastic rehearsal, have a fantastic run of shows, and hope to see you very soon, sir.
All right. Thanks, my friend. Good to see you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.